Here as we speak. This has been updated. Not a surprise there as we're seeing the circulation here right into the Thomaston area. This is our area of circulation we are highlighting. This is the most severe storm here. Not a surprise that this has been updated and we are now seeing this tornado warning continue to track its way further to the north, which means at this point several new locations are on the way as far as who needs to be concerned with this system, as it'll be tracking its way further to the north now. Thomaston still en route. You see there not far out, but Barnesville, a whole lot of places there. This is a quick moving storm as we are tracking it moving very quickly there to the north and to the east at this point. Very severe weather, something certainly to be taking cover, as we have seen radar indicated circulation with this system, and we've been tracking it all the way across the state. So this one has been moving here for a while. This tornado warning, we're seeing it heading directions here, Thomaston, very quickly in a whole lot of locations. You do need to take cover as this continues to work its way further there to the north and to the east at a relatively quick pace. Let me step out of your way here one more time as we continue to track what exactly this system is doing. And we are continuing to get updates of where this tornado is and which one we're following as we continue to see these warnings being extended. I am jumping up here and showing you another one of our models here on our radar. This is what we're looking at, and we've actually had a tornado watch all day long, so I do want to step back and show you that tornado watch as this most severe storm has now climbed its way further to the north of this watch, but severe weather really across the state. Everything there in the yellow, which has now just been extended as well, that has been our tornado watch over the course of the day. That's where the conditions are just ripe for the most severe weather, but obviously we are seeing this one system, this one cell working its way further to the north here, a very serious system there right in the Thomaston area. I'm going to zoom in on it here so you can get a better view of what it is we're dealing with, and there is that center of rotation working its way closer to Thomaston, moving relatively quickly as well. I'll circle this for you so you can get a better idea of what we are looking at here. This is the area we're paying attention to. This is the storm system, and it is tracking its way towards the Rock, towards Barnesville, a relatively quick moving system as it continues to track that direction, and will continue to here through at least the next half an hour according to our most recent update. Here's a look at our Live Viper radar again. And we continue to have this tornado watch extended. The areas we're talking about now are Bibb, Beckley, Crawford, Dodge, Houston, Lawrence, Peach, Talbot, Taylor, Telfair, Twiggs, Upson, Wheeler, and Wickelson. So a large area there is under the tornado watch that was just extended, but the tornado warning. Now this is the area we're really focusing on here, down just to the north, to the northwest there of the Macon area. This is the system we're really watching, and in the route there, well, we're looking at Lincoln Park, Silvertown, Thomaston, East Thomaston, McKinney, Delray, Dog Crossing, the Rock, Vega, and Piedmont. And that continues now at this point until 4:45. So we do continue to see that rotation. It's not a surprise that this was extended here at this point as this system continues to develop and continues to push its way further off towards the north and to the west. Just one moment now as we take a step back. You see this is a very large system, and this is something we've actually been tracking here throughout the course of the day. It's this larger line of storms that have kept the rain coming throughout the entire course of the day with this very severe weather. We're going to take another zoom in here and get a better idea of what we're seeing and where this exact system is. We'll bring it in here. The most important thing to note here in the Thomaston area, if you are in this area, this storm tracking its way right towards Barnesville, is this is a radar indicated tornado, but it is completely rain wrapped. And that means you're not going to be able to look out your window and see this tornado. This is something that you want to get inside and take cover as quickly as possible, because this has been a fast moving system. We watched it climb out of that first watch box before the warning was even completely over. And as now we're seeing this system again approach the Barnesville area at this point now just north of Thomaston, right in Thomaston, a very quick mover there. And that is exactly what we're looking at. Right in here is the most severe weather. This is where you really need to take cover. You see these dots, these are lightning bolts. There's plenty to be nervous about with very heavy rain, strong winds, and yes, we are appearing to see rotation on this system. That's what we're looking at here as we take a step further back. I do want to take a look at our other system real briefly and just tell you what exactly we're paying attention to here throughout the area. And this is our radar once again. Backing up here just a little bit for you. This is the system we've been watching, and it's been moving very quickly to the north at this point. Still about 15 minutes we have left here on our total time frame of when this system will finally be expiring, but the ingredients continue to be ripe, and we continue to see this spreading out further and further to the north as this system, we continue to deal with it. And here's one more look at that. Let me manipulate our computer system here and manipulate our computer system here and bring up where exactly this storm continues to be tracking to as it's loading. I'm going to have to switch back to our Viper model now, but we do continue to have this tornado warning and the tornado watch. These are two separate areas, and now you can see rotation has actually just fired up on our Viper model. Let me take a little bit of a step back and you can see what we're dealing with. And yes, another tornado warning actually just announced. So we're getting rotation in several locations now. This is that line of storms that we've actually been waiting for here all afternoon, all evening, right along from Griffin further to the south. We've been highlighting it here for the last several days that it did appear that the most severe weather would be staying further to the south. Luckily, at this point, that has been the case, but these are quickly moving to the north and to the east. And with that route, that does mean that several locations will be heading that direction. This is the system we're watching as it heads that way. And again, we are seeing rotation at this point. We're going to take it back in and zoom in just a little bit tighter here, get a better idea of what we're looking at through the Thomaston area. And again, now even further to the south as well, we've got two tornado warned areas as well as a large tornado watch really across the southern portions of Georgia. So there's a good area that we need to be keeping our eyes on. The most recent tornado warning, this one here further to the south, let me bring it in. And again, here we are paying attention at this point very far to the south. We're beginning to see a little bit of rotation there at the bottom of this warning box as you're getting a little bit of a spin there. What we're paying attention to is Crawford, Lamar, Monroe, Upson. This one issued until 5 p.m. So that's another 30 miles. This is a storm capable of producing a tornado at this point, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. So these are very quick moving systems. We've already been seeing it here as the system just to its north. This cell has been causing a lot of havoc here for the last hour or so. Ever since it crossed the state line, this has been a tornado warmed system. We now have two tornado warned cells as they continue to track further off to the north. And here is the rotation. I can bring it in. You're seeing that airflow being pulled in right there, and you're seeing the rotation wrapping around. This is where we're getting this tornado system as we continue here through the afternoon. Unfortunately, we do still have another 15 minutes on this original tornado warning. However, this is one that's been continuing to be updated throughout the day. Further to the south, we have another tornado warning again. So now tornado warnings lasting until 4:45 or 5 p.m. for a whole lot of area counties. We're talking about those warnings for Crawford, Lamar, Monroe, Upson, all lasting until 5 p.m. at this point. Of course, if these continue to get updated, these are things we're going to continue to track and get our other computer system updated here with some more information in just a few moments. tornado warned storms. The lower red box on your screen, that in Crawford, Lamar, Monroe, and Upson. You also see a whole lot of yellow across your screen underneath all the storm activity, and I can actually bring that off of the screen for a moment. This has all been a tornado watch that is much further to the south. We've had really the conditions have been in place for tornadoes here. We've known it's been on the way, and we are just now beginning to see these tornado warned storms again sweeping here through parts of south and central Georgia. These are really where the ingredients have been best put for this type of activity. At this point, we have 2 cells. I'll bring back our radar so you can see those cells at this time. Here's where we are right now with them. 2 particular cells that we're watching very closely that do have the signatures there of tornadoes. I brought it on top there, and let me turn that off. So we have a storm there right in the Thomaston area. This one continues to track further to the north, and actually both of these, this is important to know, very fast moving, about 50 miles an hour. So they're almost outrunning the warning boxes. Here, I'll turn off the warning boxes again, and you see these storms at this point much further to the north in both of those situations, but a very fast moving storm. Both tornado warnings, both high winds, and there are other things to pay attention to in this system. These are both rain wrapped, so these are going to be hard systems to see. I can actually show you what we're looking for as far as a rain accumulation, how quickly this is dropping rain, and boy, it has really been adding up. Observed precipitation here already really adding up here as these very heavy storms have been sweeping on through the area. I'm going to show you exactly how much rain we're seeing as these tornado watched areas move through. An inch and a half, and these are storms moving 50 miles an hour, so it's dropping this rain very quickly, very heavy. Flooding is another potential here as we battle these storms and as we continue to track these storms through these afternoon hours and through these evening hours as we'll be continuing just to see where these storms continue to progress. There's with that inch and a half of total precipitation. Again, these are the 2 areas we're really highlighting on where the storms have been moving thus far. Thomaston is a spot where we've just seen the storms move on through, and just as we speak here, they dropped to the back half of that tornado warned area. So now up into Barnesville, the Rock. This is where we're seeing the heaviest rain continuing to work this direction, continuing to head its way further to the north and to the east here at this hour, and these storms again moving at 50 miles an hour, so very fast movers. Here is actually where we're looking at now at this point, working towards Barnesville, just north of the Rock area. Some very heavy rain at times with a little bit of a curve there, a little bit of a hook within this system, something we're obviously needing to be watching here as it continues to track its way further there to the north, as we're seeing the winds flowing around this system. Backing back out, again, 2 tornado watched areas. Both of these you need to take cover quickly as these systems moving very fast, very strong storms sweeping on through the areas there. The Rock, and at this point several locations there, Colden as well. Forsyth is on the way. Forsyth County now under the tornado warning as well. The tornado warning still continuing at this point until 4:45. So that first box, the one you're seeing there on the upper part of your screen, the northern box there, that red box, that tornado warning is lasting for another 5 minutes until 4:45. The National Weather Service continues to detect a tornado, and this has a long history of producing debris on the radar. Law enforcement officials have reported numerous trees and power lines down. This tornado is located just over the Rock, or about 7 miles southwest of Barnesville. 7 miles there southwest of Barnesville, just over the Rock. So I'm going to take you into that area, and that's exactly the tornado warn box we're looking at. And at this point, we still have another 4 minutes left on that warning, and that's where we're tracking at this point, right there in the Rock in the Barnesville area. I can bring that up for you right now here on our Viper system. I have Doug Evans here in the Fox 5 Weather Center with me, helping me out here, and right here into the Rock. And at this point now, just north of the rock is where you're seeing that rotation. Barnesville, you are next up. And again, as law enforcement has said, we're talking about trees down. These are reports that the National Weather Service is getting in. Trees have been reported down. We've also talked about a lot of debris with this system, power lines down, so power is going to be out in these situations. Don't try to get out there and get video of this because all day long, these have been rain-wrapped storm systems, and with these rain-wrapped systems, you're not going to be able to look out the window and see the tornado as it passes you by. It's better just to take cover at this point with these rain-wrapped systems. I also want to take a step back. There is a secondary warned area that we're continuing to watch as well. This until 5 o'clock, this one including Crawford County. We're looking at Lamar, Monroe, and Upson. This box now further to the south. This, at this point, continuing to track very quickly at 50 miles an hour, and we continue to see very severe weather along this along this boundary at this point, which is stretching nearly up to the Atlanta area. Everyone is about to be seeing some very heavy rain. This isn't something that's just being held its way further to the south. These are strong storms area wide, but we are paying attention to the nastiest weather at this point. The tornado warned storm cells are further to the south, and at this point, about to move right into the Barnesville area. This tornado warning in the Barnesville area, I've said it before, that includes Lamar County, that's Pike County, and that's Upson County. At this point, only 2 minutes left on this particular warning. This particular warned box. Further to the south, we have a warning issued that will be sticking with us all the way until 5 p.m. That tornado warning again for Crawford, Lamar, Monroe, and Upson County, that one until 5 p.m. And we've been seeing detections of tornado all the way on radar with debris. Law enforcement again has reported numerous trees and power lines down as a result. And this is in the Rock area and now nearing Barnesville as the Rock is now passed by here, now over the Rock and now working its way towards Barnesville. Another serious system with rotation there, something certainly to be tracking as we continue on here through the afternoon hours and through the evening hours as we follow this system. I do need to get back to my secondary system here, and I want to show you again, let's take a little bit of a step back. This is a very large system, and I think what's also important, and you do need to take note of this, what we're really paying attention to besides the wind obviously damaging, but very heavy rain. Oftentimes people hear tornado and they're tempted to try to get their cameras out and get video of this. We have been seeing very heavy rain throughout this entire time, and these are rain-wrapped systems, so you aren't going to be able to get up there and see this. It's best just to take cover at this point due to the fact that these are rain-wrapped systems. Here are our precipitation rates so far here through the day, and as you can tell, very heavy rain, very fast rainfall here throughout these areas. Now working their way towards the Barnesville area. We're talking about an inch or so per hour. Forsyth is next up as well, as we're going to be continuing to see these rain-wrapped tornadoes, rain-wrapped indicated tornadoes now working its way into the Barnesville area and then further to the south as well. But Barnesville at this point, this is what we're paying the closest attention to, with very strong winds towards Milner, towards Goggins as well, and Barnesville, obviously a place we are certainly tracking here as we continue on as of right now. We do just have the most recent tornado warning, and just as expected, we are seeing an addition here to this system. It just continues to pop up tornado warned storms, and will be continuing to do so. But at this point here at 4:45, just as one was set to expire, we have another tornado issued for Butts, Henry, Lamar, and Spalding County now. This until 5:15 p.m. At just a few minutes ago, the National Weather Service did continue to detect this very same tornado we've been following, and it's got a long history of producing debris and radar. This is a system, this tornado that we're zooming in here right now on our live Viper system, just south there of the Griffin area, at this point moving through the Barnesville area. We have been tracking this ever since it crossed the state line. This has been a system that's been causing long-range damage, debris in the air, down power lines, down trees. We've gotten these reports from law enforcement, and the National Weather Service has gotten these reports from law enforcement as this dangerous storm continues to travel. At this point, it's right over Milner. Milner is where we're really focusing the most damaging portions of this radar indicated tornado at this point. And as we said, police, authorities, fire, they have been reporting trees down, power lines down, thanks to this storm that at this point has made its track all the way from the state line and is now tracking its way further at about 50 miles an hour still. And as it continues to move its way to the north and to the west, we continue to add counties to this tornado warning. At this point, again, it's Butts, Henry, Lamar, and Spalding. And yes, there are 2 tornado warnings. The second, a little bit further to the south there, at this point working its way towards the Forsyth area. That tornado warning, if I can take hold here real quick, we are getting towards the end of this tornado warned box, still moving at 50 miles an hour. This set to expire in 13 minutes at 5 p.m. as we continue to do so. And the storm reports continue to come in. Carsonville getting reports of thunderstorm wind damage, trees down, power lines down across the entire county. We are continuing to get this information as storms continue to be knocking out power, tree lines, following very severe weather. At this point, Milner is our biggest focus, where we have had a long range tornado off and on. If it's been a straight line path or not, that is yet to be determined, but this has been a radar indicated tornado ever since the state line, continuing to track its way to the north and to the west at 50 miles an hour. And obviously right here, you get the darker reds. That's where you're getting the most severe rain, really strong winds, a powerful storm. And here it is tracking its way right into the Milner area. Barnesville, you've seen this storm. Further to the south, the damage is already done in the Rock, Thomaston. At this point, if you are on the backside of this system, the good news is we're looking at only lighter showers at this point. This is the system we've been tracking here for the last couple of days. The rain started last night, and this is what we've been highlighting. These lines of storms sweeping across the south parts of the state here as we get into the afternoon hours, and we'll be continuing to watch them as these are some very quick moving systems heading this direction. Rainfall totals, again, I have to mention it because it is important. Oftentimes you watch the movies, you see on the internet, people get these videos of these storms. That is not going to be the case in this situation because we're talking about rain-wrapped storms, very heavy rainfall actually at this point with rain coming down very, very quickly. If I can bring you in here, these are some totals of the actual precipitation rate so far. This is where the rain is coming down. Real quickly, I'll toss it over to Doug in just a moment, but I do want to take a look at some of these rainfall rates. And this is very heavy rain. So we're talking obviously about storms, about severe weather at this point. This storm up into the Barnesville area, actually just passing Barnesville, approaching the Milner area. You are not going to be able to see this storm because we are getting rainfall rates here very easily. Very intense storms and rainfall rates there, precipitation rates 2 to 3 inches per hour. So very heavy rain is sweeping on through the area and will be continuing to do so. Doug, do you have some more information for us at this time?
Well, I just want to bring you up to date on what the National Weather Service has issued here. We're looking at 2 different tornado warning areas and a thunderstorm warning area as well. The latest to be issued is a thunderstorm warning for Butts, Henry, Lamar, and Spalding. That's until 5:15. At 4:43, the National Weather Service reports that it detected a tornado that has a long history of producing debris on radar. That is a radar signature of debris and causing numerous trees and power lines down in that area. That storm currently over Milner, approaching Barnesville, moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. There have been numerous reports of trees down along the path of this storm as it moves toward the northeast at 60 miles an hour. This is a fast-moving storm, and so we encourage you right now, if you are living in that area, to take immediate shelter. Those areas to the northeast of Barnesville can expect this storm to pass over them as well, and so just be prepared right now. In that area, and we're talking about the eastern part of Spalding County, expect to take shelter as well, because you are in that tornado area, tornado warning area. Make your preparations if you haven't already, and move to adequate shelter on the lowest level of your home, preferably an interior bathroom that will give you solid protection there on the inside of your house, and seek your shelter there. McDonough also in this tornado warning area, just on the fringe. Jackson, Locust Grove, Fincherville, all in this tornado warning area right now. Adam, we should bring people up to date on the other areas that are also under this tornado warning.
Yeah, you've been speaking of the long-range tornado, the one we've been tracking here as it's been crossing the entire state. And yeah, a whole lot of locations there that we're closely paying attention to. They're in this long-range tornado at this point continues until 5:15. The locations, well, Greenwood, Blacksville, McDonough, all areas that need to be taking cover at this point as very severe weather continues to sweep its way through. At this point, if you're in Milner, well, you're probably on the back side of this system. The worst is now behind you, but we do continue to see severe weather just a little bit further to the south. And look at this, an update as we speak. We're going to be continuing to get long range. This secondary tornado system is still there and is still continuing here for eastern Monroe County in central Georgia, northwestern Jones County in central Georgia, and Jasper County now as well. This tornado warning now just issued, this one until 5:30 for the next about 35 minutes. The National Weather Service continuing to see this thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. Again, this is something important to notice with these two systems. One has been indicated on radar. A tornado has been indicated on radar on the further north of these two systems. The other, however, is just a thunderstorm that has the capabilities of producing a thunderstorm, or excuse me, has the capabilities of producing a tornado at this point. That's what we're watching. The two storms there, the one further to the north, that is the one at this point until 5:15 this evening, just north of Milner. Milner is where the center of that storm is. That has been a radar indicated tornado off and on here for the last several hours as it's crossed the state line. The update we just received, that is the tornado warning for Jasper, Jones, and Monroe counties. That's a little bit further to the south. That is a very severe thunderstorm. Within that thunderstorm, and again, you're seeing actually two tornado warned areas there. The one further to the south about to expire, the one further to the north, that is Jasper, Jones, and Monroe and Putnam County. That is going to be lasting until 5:30. That is a thunderstorm at this point with all the possibilities. It is indicated that it's capable of producing a tornado. What does this mean? Well, dangerous winds is near Forsyth. This is moving at 65 miles an hour. These storms all afternoon long have been very quick movers, producing very heavy rain where you're not going to be able to step outside and see a tornado as it passes you by. Instead, we're just seeing just very severe weather, heavy rain, and very strong winds as well. Zooming back in, I want to continue the update here as we're continuing to track the storm here. And again, Milner, we're the most recently updated, but we are continuing to track weather here. At this point, moving its way to the northwest very quickly, very quickly, as we're talking about storms at 50 to 65 miles an hour is what we will be dealing with at this point and continuing to deal with. And then again, the storm further to the south, the most recently updated storm, this one for Jasper, Jones, Monroe, and Putnam County, that is until 5:30. That one moving at 65 miles an hour. In our other tornado warned box, this one moving at 50 miles an hour. Numerous trees and power lines have been reported down. This is that long range system that we've been tracking here really for the entire afternoon. Ever since it crossed the state line, this system moving its way to the north and to the west. So if you are in the path of this system, please do. This is very serious. Take cover. Don't try to take photography. These are rain wrap systems. You're not going to see anything anyways. Please just take cover and protect yourselves here as we continue through the rest of this afternoon. Doug?
Adam, we're seeing a rotation on Fox 5 Live Viper in the area that is just to the northeast of Milner. And this is the area that you talked about, this long-running tornado warning area. And that is directly to the east of Orchard Hill, to the northeast of Milner, where it has just passed. Storm relative velocity shows circulation in that storm. That is where there is the possibility of a tornado as it moves just to the northwest of Unionville. This is an area of possible tornadic winds. And a very dangerous area indeed. Fox 5 Live Viper showing that this storm will be passing over Luella at 4:58, Greenwood at 5 o'clock, Blacksville at 5:03, McDonough at 5:03, White House, you're at 5:09, Kellytown at 5:10, Oak Hill, Magnet, Conyers, Lakeview Estates, all in the path of this storm in the next 20 minutes or so. This is a very powerful storm. It has the capability of extending many miles out in its direction, in its path. And so it is a fast-moving storm and yet a powerful storm that does not give any signs of weakening at this point. So it has extended over many miles so far. We expect it to extend many miles yet to go. And so towns to the northeast of Milner, McDonough, Jackson, Stewart, you're not in the warning area, but expect and make your preparations now because the National Weather Service has extended the warning area a couple of times now already, and expect now that perhaps you could be in a warning area very shortly, so make preparations now and have your plans ready in case that happens. Looking now to the south, that was an area that the National Weather Service just issued a tornado warning for just a short time ago. Forsyth was already in a tornado warning. It extends now toward the northeast all the way up until Monticello and Edenton as well. Again, these are very wide areas as this squall line comes across these areas, packing very heavy winds. And Adam, we talk about the dangers of tornadoes. There are dangers of high winds all along that squall line as well.
That's absolutely right, Doug. And we're getting all this information kind of as you are as well. We're trying to process it and get it back out to you. And every once in a while, it's important to take a step back and look at the larger picture, which is what we'll do right now. You see the yellow shaded counties. This is the tornado watch, not the tornado warning. It's something we've been paying attention to here all day long. This watch issued a little bit earlier in the day, and actually the most recent just updated here to include the cities of Thomaston, Macon, Dublin, areas such as that. But 21 counties are now listed in central Georgia under this tornado watch. But what you're seeing, these tornado warnings obviously have moved north of that tornado watch area. So just because you live further in North Georgia does not mean that you don't need to stay weather aware here as we continue through the rest of the day, the rest of the afternoon, and the evening hours as we track this one line of storms. Because as you can see, these tornado warning boxes, they have spread outside of that watch area and continue to track to the north at a very quick clip at this point. Again, we'll take a quick highlight of these two tornado warned areas. The first of this two warning areas now at this point moving its way still further to the north at 50 miles an hour. The storm within this cell until 5:15. This particular tornado warning continues. However, this is one that's continued to be updated and updated and updated. And at this point, there's no sign of this slowing down. What have we been seeing? Heavy rainfall has been obscuring this tornado, this radar indicated tornado. So please be careful when you're out there. What are we watching for? Well, it's including several counties, and actually we just dropped as this storm continues to track further to the north. The back end of it dropped, but we do continue to update and see that this storm is tracking its way further to the north very quickly. Only about a county away now from I-20 as this continues to work its way further to the north. But I do want to update you on what counties we're paying attention to. Again, this lasting at this point until 5:30 is what we're looking at, heavy rainfall. Areas included are McDonough, Jackson, Locust Grove, Jenningsburg, Workville, McGibbon, Chapel Hill, in Fincherville. Now, these are just some of the areas at this point that are under this initial warning. There are 2 warned areas that we are certainly paying very close attention to as this system continues to progress. The other warned area, also until 5:30, we do have another half an hour still on this tornado warned area until 5:30, but about 10 minutes ago, the National Weather Service first indicated that the thunderstorm along this line was capable of producing a tornado. Areas that need to be concerned are Eatonton, Forsyth, Monticello, Shady Dale, Gerald Plantation, Warfield, just to name a few. We're going to be continuing, obviously, to track these storms as they head that direction. And, you know, this is actually exactly what we've been looking at here, even the last couple of days following right along that conductive outlook. I do want to step back and show you the actual storm itself as it's been progressing here through the day. This is that line of storms, and you really see it if I put on the loop as it's been sweeping here across the really across the state in just the last 3 hours. The most severe of that weather has been a tornado warned system ever since it crossed the line. Now, what we might be noticing here as the line as a whole in the bigger picture is there's some weakening. Maybe not in the individual storm cells, but as the storm as a whole. And that could be some good news as this continues to push its way across the state for portions of eastern side of the state. But unfortunately for right now, we continue to see 2 tornado warned areas, Doug. Again, several counties there involved for the next 30 minutes at least.
Right now, I want to draw your attention to Locust Grove, the storm passing over Locust Grove at this time within the tornado warning area in Henry County. Jackson about to take the brunt of this storm as well in the next 20 minutes or so. On up to McDonough, that storm is now kind of split the downtown area and is moving off to the northeast at a very high rate, 65 miles an hour. Beyond the tornado warning area is Rocky Plains, Oak Hill, and Covington. Make your preparations now in case the National Weather Service does issue a tornado warning as it extends along the line of this very, very powerful storm. Zooming into Locust Grove there, you can see on Fox 5 Live Viper the storm line, the squall line as it passes over that area. Also taking a look at the tornado warning area down farther south. Zooming in, Juliet is in that area getting heavy rain at this time. Hillsborough is up next. We'll give you some of the towns involved in this. Lorraine at 5:05, Bolingbrook at 5:06, 5:17, Round Oak, Hillsborough at 5:19. On all the way down to Shady Dale at 5:29. And so these storms continue to move to the northeast. You can also see that there are severe thunderstorm warnings that exist back behind it for towns such as Thomaston and Barnesville. So even though the tornado warnings have expired for those areas, still these storms continue to produce heavy lightning or strong lightning, heavy winds, and very, very heavy rains. Also pack the potential for hail as well. And we can turn on the lightning tracker here as well and see what the lightning associated with these particular storms as we zoom in here and see that right now, not a lot of lightning connected to this, not according to Fox 5 Live Viper. That storm now just to the direct east of McDonough and extends out beyond the tornado warning area, actually. If you take a look between McDonough and Oak Hill, this very powerful storm extends beyond that. The heaviest rainfall just to the northwest of Locust Grove, and that again is moving off to the upper right part of your screen. So these are very powerful storms. They have lasted a long time on the ground and continue to prompt warnings as they travel off to the northeast. Adam?
Well, you mentioned the lightning activity at this point. That has stayed further to the south, but there is still plenty to worry about with these systems as they continue to track. I'm going to take you now in front of a radar system as we continue to watch this over the last 3 hours. As you can tell, one of the fastest moving radars we've seen here in a while. These storms moving 50 to 65 miles an hour. So if you see it on the horizon, now is the time to take cover, as these are very quick moving storms, very serious storms that need to be prepared for. Let me take you to right now. These are the systems. This is the line we've really been paying attention to there through Jackson. Monticello is up next. A couple of tornado warmed storm cells that continue to track this way. The first of which, a little bit further to the north here, as you're seeing, this is the one that we've been seeing for hours now. Ever since it crossed the state line, this has been producing debris. This storm cell, as it tracks at 50 miles an hour to the north and to the west, to the north and to the east. At 50 miles an hour, we've been seeing debris, down power lines, lots going on with this system. The other tornado warned box, a much larger box here, moving very quickly, 65 miles an hour. This is a very severe thunderstorm that has the potential to turn into a tornado very quickly. This is another one that you certainly want to take cover for and be very careful with as these systems continue to track their way at this point much further to the north. And as you see, just to give you a little bit of a reference, my hand on right now, that's I-20. So these storms moving very quickly up to some major roadways. So you do want to be careful on the roadways if you're heading out, if you're heading anywhere out the door soon. Now might not be the time to do so. Besides the fact that these are severe winds, we're also talking about very heavy rain. What I'm showing you now at this point is just the strength of the storm, but also the amount of rain dropping in them. And you get these really dark colors, and this is very fast rainfall. These are rain-wrapped systems. I know the inclination, especially in this business, is to try to get outside and get that picture, get that video of the storm as it rolls in. Again, this is a 50 to 65 mile an hour moving storm, and it's rain-wrapped. You're not going to see a tornado if it's coming. It's best to try to take cover at this system, especially up into the Jackson area, Monticello here quickly. You're going to be dealing with this weather, and even up towards I-20. Again, that's where we're going to be paying attention to these storms. And we are beginning to get a few storm reports. There are several things I want to point out here. Again, not a ton of lightning. Anytime you see these flashes, that's lightning, but these are storm reports. And if I can step off camera for you, I will be able to pull them up and see what some of the storm reports are. These that you see, the tree snapped, obviously this is wind damage, and wind damage is something that is not a surprise here with very straight line winds and these very strong storms that are moving through the area. But we do have thunderstorm wind damage reported at 4:35. Not a ton of information there. If there is more information, it will certainly include it. But what they're seeing is a 911 call center. Numerous trees and power lines have been reported down in Crawford County. This is a system that continues to push its way further to the north. Another system here in Carsonsville, another thunderstorm wind damage report. More reports of trees and power lines down. I imagine a decent amount of power lines down here. And we're also getting damage of trees. These trees not only falling, but falling on homes. A report there in, what is that, Upson?
Upson County.
In Upson County. You've been continuing to get reports as well, Doug, of serious damages. This is a very serious storm. Delray here just at 4:30, thunderstorm wind damage. We're talking about falling trees. This is actually the one you were just talking about, Doug, there on Adams Road and Delway Road. Thunderstorm wind damage and bringing damage there to the home itself. So obviously very serious here. This one in Thomaston, more tree and power lines down. I'm sure there's a lot of power lines out here at this point. And then in Silvertown, we have trees snapped and power lines down at Church Road and Mill Race Road. So just because this storm has passed you by, and I'll take you back to a picture here where you can get an idea of where this storm is once again. Just because we are seeing the heaviest rain pass you by, there's going to be power lines down. There's going to be other issues that you need to pay attention to. Just dangerous driving conditions because very heavy rain, right, Doug? It's in the fall, so you see you get leaves flooding, leaves plugging drains, and you start to see flooding very quickly. So there are plenty of things to be concerned about with this system that just moments ago was running right along I-75. We're continuing to watch it move very quickly, 50 to 65 miles an hour, tracking its way to the north and to the east. So again, and I think this is as important as anything, you think it's a ways off. I'll put it in here into a loop so you can see how quickly it's moved in the last 3 hours. You think you have time to go do something. You think you have time to make that quick trip. This is a very quick moving storm, 50, 65 miles an hour. Now is not the time. It's the time to take cover. Doug?
And the storm that is now just to the east of McDonough in Henry County and Butts County, just to the southeast of it, continues to produce heavy winds according to the National Weather Service, and they continue to monitor this storm at 5:10. So just a short time ago, that storm was located near Jackson, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. There were reports of widespread damage caused by winds in that area. We don't know exactly if these are just straight line winds associated with this squall line, or if indeed it is wind damage caused by a tornado on the ground in that area. Most of what we have seen today and the reports that we are getting from the National Weather Service are tornado signatures from Doppler radar, but we certainly have a lot of storm damage reports to corroborate what might be happening on the ground in those areas. The current storm in that area just to the east of Fincherville, and again, it is moving off to the northeast at about 60 miles an hour. And Adam, I think that we're starting to see this storm certainly diminish in size and perhaps weaken along as it does.
You know, you picked up on exactly what I was just thinking, Doug. It's been such a long-running storm, as we've said at this point, a very long-running storm, perhaps 50 to 60 miles of total running there. But this storm, as it continues to track further off, what we are seeing here in our 3-hour loop is that it is a weakening system. If I can take my switch source here and bring up my other radar, which I am attempting to do. The radar is showing that what we're seeing at this point is, and there it is, it's a weakening storm front. It's a weakening storm system right along this line. I don't want to make too many presumptions because there are still areas where this is a more severe storm system. But along this entire line, it has weakened as it's moved its way across the state of Georgia. And actually, this isn't a surprise. We've known here for several days that there was going to be a wedge of cooler air, of drier air, north of the I-20 line, and there is I-20. It's exactly what the Storm Prediction Center was talking about here earlier in the week, that cooler air further to the north, and as we are approaching that I-20 line, this storm is falling apart a little bit. Now, there are still plenty of reasons to be concerned, still a lot of very heavy rain, flooding is a potential as it continues to work this direction, and there are still a couple areas where packing a little bit of a punch now at this point there, just east of the McDonough area, still looking at some fairly heavy rainfall. But as you can tell, the organization, that straight line of storms that we've been looking at and talking about here for the last 30 minutes or so, it is beginning to fall apart a little bit. It's a little bit of a weaker system as it is approaching that I-20 line, that magical line that we've been talking about really the last several days here on Fox 5. That cooler air there to the north is weakening this as it pushes that direction. It doesn't change the fact that we are still under that tornado warning here until at least 5:30, and that's what we're going to be continuing to watch. And actually, as I speak, the first tornado, this very long tornado warning that we've been paying attention to now ever since it crossed the state line, that was now just allowed to expire. That tornado warning again, just finally allowed to expire. We still do have another tornado warning that we're continuing to pay attention to. But again, this entire system at this point does appear to be losing some steam, some of that initial really strong power. What it's not doing is slowing down on the rain. The roads are still going to be dangerous. We've got the leaves on the road. They flood into the drains. And when that happens, you get standing water, and that makes for a dangerous situation. And we also still have the storm reports. Again, at this point, most of the storm reports aren't being updated as this system appears to be weakening a little bit more and more, but we are seeing the storm reports on our system. And again, some of these storm reports are talking about downed trees, taking down power lines, some very significant situations there as we are getting these storm reports in. And I can actually cue some of these and see what exactly people are reporting and where they are. 911 call center is getting reports of numerous trees and power lines down in Crawford. We're also seeing trees down in Delray, and that's causing power issues, trees down on homes, which obviously a big safety concern with not just power out, but be careful on those roadways as you're sure to come across limbs down, trees down across the county in Thomaston. That's in Upson, Georgia as well. That was at 425. But again, the good news is this appears to be weakening, Doug, but there is no shortage right now of people who've been through this system and who are trying to kind of clean up afterwards because it's been nasty here for the last couple hours.
All right, Adam, you've been talking about the official storm reports into the National Weather Service. Here at Fox 5, we are also starting to get some storm reports in from residents through our Facebook page. And as I said, we're starting to get storm reports in from residents on our Facebook page. These are not official reports, mind you, but certainly the pictures seem to indicate the kind of damage that these storms are capable. Angela sent this photo in to us just a short time ago. This appears to be a tree that has fallen in a backyard, a very large tree that has been damaged apparently by winds. And she doesn't, oh, this is in Thomaston. And Angela says that it was a tornado that took down this tree. We'll have to see from the National Weather Service. Of course, they will send teams out to inspect the damage there in the Thomaston area to see if, in fact, it was tornadic winds that caused that or something else. Here's another view from Angela. Again, this is a view in Thomaston of storm damage that was caused this afternoon by these very powerful storms that came in. Angela sent this to us in just the last 17 minutes or so, and very powerful winds associated with these storms, Adam.
Yes, obviously very powerful winds, a storm system that's been very nasty here for the last several hours, really, here all the way through the afternoon hours. I do want to take another look back. This is the last 3 hours of this system, and I'll even step back a little bit further here. It has been weakening. You can just tell the intensity. Those deep reds have been weakening a little bit, especially further here to the north as this system continues to travel its way further to the north. And this is not a surprise at this point. We've known that the possibility of some weather here further to the north really throughout the last couple days of the week, but what we've noticed here is, and what we've talked about, is a cool air wedge that is going to be north of I-20. Too much cool air, too much dry air hanging there north of I-20, and this huge line of storms that has produced long-range systems, long-range thunderstorms, and indicated long-range tornadoes. Again, we're waiting for confirmation of those, but it's beginning to weaken as it hits this I-20, this invisible line with much cooler air hovering here to the north. It's been very pesky, hard to get it out of the area, and you are seeing these storms weaken as they head that direction. Still plenty to be concerned about as we're talking about heavy rains, which are still lasting at this point, and we'll zoom in. There's still some areas there where we're talking about a little bit more severe thunderstorm cells packing a little bit more of a punch. You see them at this point in the Covington area, but at this range we are now running up to I-20. I do think that is that imaginary line where these storms are going to continue to weaken, but it's still dangerous. We're talking about very heavy rainfall. Anytime you get heavy rainfall on some major highways, plenty of wind down trees, it does make for some dangerous driving conditions. But even as we zoom into some of these areas where we've been seeing the most severe weather, and that is where we're zoomed in right now, you can tell beginning to break up into smaller pieces. Drier air is finding its way into this, and it's struggling a little bit. It doesn't stop the fact that we still have several areas where we're concerned about that tornado, still some tornado warned areas, and we need to continue to watch them because they are packing a little bit of a punch here as we are continuing on, and we'll be continuing to pay attention to that. But what we also are watching, even as these systems continue to rush this way, very heavy rainfall. So maybe there's still tornado, maybe there's this systems in your area and you want to step outside and take that picture. It's not a good idea to do so. The reason for that, very heavy rainfall makes it a rain-wrapped system, so it is going to be tough to get that. Now we are continuing to get these updates, and at this point we actually did just update one of those tornado warnings to 5:45 p.m. That's the information. I'm just getting it as you are getting it until 5:45. The tornado issue has been warned. Now for Jasper and Putnam counties, that was until 5:30, but Butts, Jasper, Morgan, Newton, and Walton counties, that is until 5:45. So we are continuing to see these very nasty systems just stretching out as they continue to track further into this cooler, drier air, which hopefully will be starting to provide some relief here soon. But this is a look back at some of the storm reports here so far in the afternoon, and especially there when we were originally talking about this storm breaking out, this very severe weather. Well, plenty of storm reports there in the Thomaston area. Plenty of storm reports where we're talking about downed trees, power lines down as well, plenty of storm damage, and officers have been reporting, safety personnel have been reporting here throughout the afternoon that downed power lines, downed trees have been making for dangerous driving conditions. And again, and I have to mention this before I pass this off, we're talking about these storms moving anywhere from 50 to 65 miles an hour. So very fast moving systems that have been causing plenty of damage as they've been on the move. This is just a 3-hour time loop I'm giving you. So you can see the storm sweeping across the state very quickly at 65 miles an hour. Weakening a little bit, but not enough to lift any of these warnings. So that's something that we are going to continue to be unfortunately dealing with here at this point now until 5:30, which is about 8 minutes away. And then also at 5:45, that is another time that we're highlighting for our most recent tornado warning as they continue to be sweeping on through the area.
All right. Hey, I'm meteorologist Jeff Hill joining in live now with the latest, and we do have that tornado warning that's in effect for until 5:45 right now. It has been extended. It's that same storm, same system that's been coming up for northeastern Butts County, northwestern Jasper County, eastern Newton County, southeastern Walton County, and northwestern Morgan County. This is until 5:45. What are we looking at here? We're taking a look at the radar. We're going to show you that cell that is continuing to move up to the north and east. It's been on for a long time. This is the one that earlier was all the way down toward Columbus, as Adam and Doug have been telling you, and that storm system now racing off to the east-northeast. This cell in particular is moving at about 60 miles per hour. That is incredibly fast movement, but with that cell continuing to move at that rate, it will carry itself into Morgan County, into the Newton-Walton County area, and also into Jasper and Butts County. So Jasper and Butts County, you're kind of on the southern edge of that cell as it races off to the north and east. Seems to be breaking up right now. As Adam was saying, there's a lot of cold air as you get a little bit farther north of I-20. And then we have these cells, which are probably going to last a little bit longer. They'll live a little bit longer as they make their way out of Macon, maybe over toward the Washington, Georgia area, and eventually on over toward Augusta. But the cells that are moving up through parts of Walton County, Newton County, into Morgan County still have the potential of producing some damaging winds and or a tornado. We also have very heavy rainfall extending up into parts of Rockdale County. And you can see right over Newton County right now, that's not the warned cell, but that is their very heavy rainfall that'll continue moving all the way up into Walton County, eventually on toward Oconee and Clark County over toward Athens. So Athens, you're going to get hit next with this line as it continues to make its way up to the north and east. So let's switch over to Viper. Let's show you that right now and maybe track a couple of these cells. There's the one that is warned. This is the one that's going to be moving, I believe, right over the Newborn area. We'll put a track on that. It's going to be near Mansfield, Newborn, the Broughton area by 5:28, Dixon by 5:32, Rutledge by 5:35, Ebenezer by 5:39, Good Hope by 5:43. But you can see outside of that warned area, this cell over here, this one's strong too. That's going to be making its way through Porterdale and Covington pretty soon. You're going to get some very heavy rainfall, very gusty winds. I just drove in along 85, and what doesn't look all that heavy right here on I-85, believe me, it's very heavy. The rain is coming down at a blinding rate. Driving is not easy. There's a lot of hydroplaning going on. Again, but this is the cell back here, the one that's near Stewart, Newborn, Social Circle, and particular right around the Social Circle area in Rutledge is probably where the heaviest weather is coming down right now. And again, that cell is moving up to the northeast at an incredible rate of 60 miles an hour. Normally don't see thunderstorms moving that fast, but that's just an indication of how much wind is in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And obviously things must be warming up just slightly, helping to support that cell. Again, that's making its way just to the north of Eatonton. Let's get over to Doug Evans. He's got some damage video. Doug?
That's right, Jeff. This powerful line of storms moved through the south part of our viewing areas this afternoon. As I was saying, Jeff, these powerful storms moved through the South Metro area this afternoon. Now, earlier, these storms moved across I-85 as they came into South Georgia. We have some video brought to us by Bill Snyder, our station general manager, who was traveling on Interstate 85 northbound out of LaGrange, and he began to see some of the storm damage. And as we can see in this video, there are trees down. And you can see that there are numerous trees down because of high winds. This is Interstate 85, just north of LaGrange, traveling northbound there. And his report to us was that there was also an accident and that traffic was moving very, very slowly in these areas. Very powerful line of storms moved through that area this afternoon, pushed up from the southwest toward the northeast, coming into our state earlier in the late morning, actually, and then proceeded to move to the northeast all throughout this afternoon. We've gotten numerous reports of storm damage all throughout the area, a very widespread area of storm damage all across the area as these storms have moved through here. We've gotten lots of reports of downed trees, lots of reports of power lines down. We've had a few reports, Jeff, of some trees that have hit homes as well.
And that's certainly not surprising. You know, this is such a long track with this tornado. It started all the way down south of the Columbus area. Now potentially it's in and around Newborn. Let's switch over to Live Viper if we can do that. I want to show you the velocity mode so I can show you the possible rotation with this cell. There you go. There it is right there. And where I want you to take a look in particular, let me get the little drawing telestrator on here, is this area right here. So that's probably where we're seeing a little bit of rotation still going on. Earlier, this was really pronounced. I was taking a look at it. Well, I shouldn't have been looking at it while I was driving, but coming into work. And that rotation was a lot larger than that. So maybe this is weakening right now, but at least that area right there is probably the area that is rotating a little bit. The one that's going through Shadydale has already moved through Monticello. Not so sure about that one anymore, just due to the fact that the rotation really isn't showing up well on that, but there may be still some rotation going on. So anyways, near Newborn, let me flip it back over here so you can see the actual radar. More what you're used to taking a look at. Again, it's going to be just outside of Newborn, Rutledge, Social Circle. So somewhere in there, if there is some rotation, I think that's where it is still going on in this area right here. So if you live anywhere in and around the Rutledge area, be on the lookout for this storm as it continues to make its way up to the north. Let me put some roads on here too if I can. Let me get those on. There we go. I'm going to zoom in so you can kind of see what we're talking about here. If you do live in that area, just give it a few seconds here, they'll start to populate. You can see Reese Road, Sewell Road, Old Mill Road, West Dixie Highway. That could be an area that will be impacted by this rotation as it continues to make its way up to the north and east. And it could possibly be, let me take some of the levels off here so we can maybe, yeah, it might be in this area right around the Estes Road area. Where the rotation may still be taking place. It's really hard to tell when these systems like this start to collapse. There's really no true indication of what we have or what we had going on earlier when it was a little bit bit more pronounced. So that's kind of the back edge of everything over toward Covington. I just heard a beep, so that means maybe something new is coming in, maybe a new warning.
At this point, we're beginning to see some of these warnings expire, Jeff. We've seen the tornado warning for Jasper, Jones, and Putnam expire, the tornado watch for Bibb, Crisp, Dooley, Houston, and Peach. That tornado watch has been canceled. Tornado warning, excuse me, if I didn't say that, for Jasper, Jones, and Putnam. And we're also continuing. We just got information in that they're going to continue the tornado watch for Bleckley, Dodge, Lawrence, Telfair, Twiggs, and Wheeler. So we are beginning to see the system weaken, as you were mentioning, and as a result of the system weakening, we are beginning to see a few cancellations and a few expirations of these tornadoes, watches, and warnings, but there are plenty of other areas that we're paying attention to where it's still packing a little bit of a punch, and there's still plenty of reason to be concerned because these systems are rain-wrapped, Jeff. Obviously a concern. You don't want to be outside trying to take photography of this. You're not going to see it. And then furthermore, we're just continuing to see just enough fuel there for these storms to just be hanging on at least for a little while.
You can see the temperatures. Are we still looking at the Viper? Yeah, we are live online here. So Lawrenceville, you got 50 there, 50 Athens. That's the rain cooled air. But see how it's starting to warm up a little bit? Conyers, temperatures now up to 57. Edenton, you're sitting right at around 59 or so, but then you get down to Milledgeville, it's 64 there, 65 Macon. It was in the 70s earlier down around Columbus, so that was helping to support the development of that tornado when it initially started to spin up. But now that it is entering that cooler air, especially right over I-20 right there, I'm sure you get just past I-20. I'm just guessing maybe around the Madison area. Monroe, you might be, if Athens is 50, Conyers is 57, let's say you're probably 52, 53 degrees. That's really going to knock the punch out of this tornado as it continues to make, or the rotation as it continues to make its way up to the north and east. So right now, the current time is, what is the current time? We have 5:32. So we still got until 5:45 before this warning is completely over with. And it has had, the storm itself has had history of knocking down power lines as well as trees, so it did do some damage. So there definitely was something, either very strong wind or a tornado, as it made its way out of the Talbot County area up into Upson and Lamar and Pike, and eventually moved through Butts County, and right now is kind of dying out somewhere just south of the Monroe area, maybe just north of Madison, as it continues to stream up toward Athens. So it's still going to be a very potent system. If you're in Athens right now, you're going to get some very heavy rainfall with this, very gusty winds. It's probably not going to take too long. It's going to be, it's traveling at 60 miles an hour. So as it continues to move at 60 miles an hour from the leading edge of this thunderstorm to Athens is about 20 miles. So it's only going to take, if I do my math correctly? 20 minutes? 20 minutes before it makes it to Athens. That's what was so surprising about these storms as they developed this afternoon. I was watching it and taking a look at it as it came out of Alabama, south of Columbus, and before you know it, I turned around and looked back at it, and the thing was already up to almost Upson County and Talbot County. So they're just moving so incredibly fast, being pushed by the upper level wind flow, which is moving right now at an incredibly fast pace. But what kept us out of the watch earlier today was the cold air, the cooler air, the temperatures in the 50s. And the folks at the Storm Prediction Center, were kind of scaling things back and saying, okay, well, you're out of the woods with that. But now the temperatures are starting to come up. But the good news with that, now that the temperatures are coming up, the rain is outpacing the temperatures rising, if you can kind of get that. So this is all going to move out of here before the atmosphere gets a little more unstable on the backside of it with the warmer temperatures. So that's good. We get rid of the rain and it starts to warm up. We should be fine later on tonight. It's just the counties off to the east here. As long as you stay in the cool air up around Athens, which you will, as those thunderstorms enter that cooler air, that should help to knock them out. This one right here seems to be intensifying a little bit. Maybe the one outside of Edenton. You never know. You might get a warning on that as it continues to move off to the east of Putnam County over toward Hancock and Warren and Glasscock and the Tolliver County area, maybe eventually on over toward Augusta, but that's kind of out of our viewing area. But what we're going to focus on is this cell, which continues to make its way out of social circle. There's a kind of a finger of that pushes up into Walton County near Monroe. Again, as we were saying, this thing is moving so fast at about 60 miles an hour. It's going to be in Athens by 5:54. So yeah, in about like 20 minutes or so. Bogart, Eastville, High Shoals, Bostwick, Braswell, Good Hope, Ebenezer, and Fairplay, you're all in line with this cell as it continues to make its way up to the north and east. In fact, it's already entered some of those areas just outside of Social Circle. You can see Bostwick right there. You're probably already getting some heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. There's Good Hope. Getting a little bit closer, Fairplay Road, Madison Road, Pleasant Valley Road. Raining real heavy right now in and around the Ash Road area, and again that Old Monroe, Madison Road area of, what would that be? I guess that's just the corner of Walton County right there, just outside of Monroe, just south of Good Hope and over toward High Shoals. So that's the way it looks right now. Still have that warning going up until 5:45, so you're not out of the woods for, I would say you're out of the woods now for Jasper County. You're out of the woods as far as Butts County goes. That's the back edge of this. It just hasn't been trimmed away. Eastern Newton County, not really. It's kind of moving now into Walton County. So it's really Walton County and Morgan County that will have the impact from this cell with high winds, very heavy rainfall, the possibility that something could spin up. You just can't let your guard down yet with that system, even though it looks like it's kind of falling apart. And again, over toward Watkinsville, you're going to be getting some of that heavier rainfall on the way for you here shortly. Let's get some of these information off of there for you and get that off so we can kind of just concentrate on what's going on here. So down around Eatonton, that's a huge squall line. Look at that. There's a severe thunderstorm warning that stretches all the way from south of Putnam County. That would be Baldwin County, and then stretching all the way down through Wilkinson, east of Macon there, and then extending way down to Eastman and just outside of Cochrane, just to the west of Dublin, Georgia, right there along I-16. So that's what we have going on right now. We've had a lot of great pictures that have been coming in, and Doug has some of those. You want to take a look at some of those?
Sure, and let's take a look at them. We're getting a lot of pictures now into Fox 5 through social media. Let me show you a picture out of Thomaston right now. This was sent in to us by Angela, and she is in Thomaston. She reports a tornado in her area. Of course, that's not official. We'll have to wait for the National Weather Service to give us more information on that, and that probably won't come until about this time tomorrow. But that is a very large tree down in a backyard in that area. She had a few more. There it is again, and this is just another view, a closer up view, giving us the perspective of how large that tree is. And it appears to have been brought down by high winds. Another view stretching out of the yard and perhaps a street behind the house. There you can see the root system of the tree, a very large tree indeed that was brought down by these high winds with these storms that rolled through. In addition to the storm damage, we're getting a look, Jeff, at what is left over on the backside of the storm, the promising side of the storm as it clears out, and a rainbow here from Kristen. She's in Rome. So we don't see any storm damage there, but we see the nicer aftermath of a storm. This, again, a double rainbow reported to us. And I believe that there are some more pictures of storm damage. There's a very ominous looking scene, Canton Road in Marietta. This was sent to us by Jordan, an indication of the dark skies with the lighter skies behind it. Again, another double rainbow from Daphne in Hiram. All the rainbows, all the promise of the rainbow seems to be in the northeast section of our viewing area right now. Very ominous looking skies, although this person said beautiful skies in Locust Grove. That storm system passed through Locust Grove about 20 minutes ago. Another rainbow, this one out of Griffin. Again, that same storm system passed through Griffin and Spalding County, prompting the National Weather Service to issue tornado warnings in that county earlier this afternoon. That, of course, has now expired as the storm moved off to the northeast. Again, ominous looking clouds from Gale. Doesn't say where Gale is. but getting some interesting shots, both of storm damage and then the aftermath. We like the nice aftermath, but we're getting a mixture of both, Jeff, of both storm damage and then people with the only thing that they're really seeing are the rainbows produced after the storm has left their areas. But these are people that were in the storm, the tornado warning areas. So if they're going out and taking nice pictures, that's a good sign.
That is a good sign. It means things are starting to clear up a little bit. Let's go back to the Fox 5 Live Viper here, and I just want to show you the warm air as it's coming in. Keep your eye on Griffin there. I'm going to go back to let's go back to earlier this afternoon. So around 2 o'clock, you were sitting at 59 degrees. It was 58 degrees at 1:30. Watch what's happened with the temperature, though, as we advance it through time. Now we're up to 64 degrees. So that's the warm front lifting, the cold air giving way to some of that warmer air coming in. But again, the good news is the rain is outpacing the warm air moving back in. So what does that mean? The warm air the rain's going to get out of here before the atmosphere has a chance to get unstable. So this thing is going to be pushing all the way up into South Carolina pretty soon with time. And we're going to be clearing out hopefully a little bit later on tonight. Let's get over to Adam Klotz right now in the Fox 5 Storm Center. Adam?
Well, you're absolutely right. And I think something that you really pointed out that we need to really focus on is these storms sweeping across the state. Early on, very warm temperatures. In some cases, the LaGrange area, we're talking about temperatures up near 70 degrees. Boy, we've cooled off as this has swept its way across the country. I don't actually have my switch source with me, but I would like to switch over to storm if that is at all possible, and then talk about what we're seeing there on storm. If we can bring that up. I believe the switch source is over. Can we bring it up to our other? Yes, there we are, here on our radar. Now, this is what we're seeing. You're seeing the storm sweep all the way across the state. They're weakening as they do so. And Jeff, you talked a lot about the cool air that is north of I-20. The temperatures have really dropped off, and they're dropping off there on the backside of this system as well. Let me bring you in and show you those weakening storm systems. But as this passes by, especially there on the south side, we're continuing to get updated storm information, storm damage reports there on the backside. And this is a particularly interesting one we have there into the Monticello area. The time of this report at 5:15, so this was only within the last half an hour. As that thunderstorm wind passed on through the area, I can actually get a little bit more information on what we saw here as that passed on through the area. And that was some severe wind damage that is actually causing problems down on roadways. This is trees down on Highway 83 just south of Monticello, and I suspect these are the type of reports we're getting really everywhere that this system has already passed us by. I can step back and we can take a little bit better look at that. But as this system has passed by, wind damage, that has been the major concern. Perhaps there's some flooding, some standing water, hydroplaning. Jeff, you mentioned on your way in to the studio this afternoon, that's an issue because of very heavy rainfall with these rain-wrapped systems that have been working their way through. But the big thing in the aftermath of this is going to be down trees and possibly just some standing water as we continue to deal with this. But thunderstorm wind damage has been widespread as we're looking at numerous trees. These are reports coming in. Numerous trees and power lines reported down in Crawford. We see wind damage also in Marion as trees and power lines are down. Power companies are going to be busy here on this Sunday evening as we continue into the overnight hours. Trees down also there into Taylor County, that's in the that is in Carsonville. So this wind damage continues to be the main issue here. Doug, you actually have some more storm reports coming in through social media, is that correct?
That's right. You're reading the official storm reports into the National Weather Service in Peachtree City here at Fox 5. We continue to see the storm damage through the eyes of those of you who are out and about. And let me show you a picture. This is Jackson in Butts County, High Falls Road. We talk about the dangers of getting around right now, hydroplaning because of the heavy rain, but also you're going to have some difficulty getting around because of all the wind damage as well. High Falls Road, as you can see, completely impassable because of falling trees. Those look like pine trees that have snapped and are now laying across the roadway. So it's going to be extremely treacherous in these areas where we've had these storms this afternoon. Jackson, the city of Jackson, as well as Butts County, those were areas that were in a tornado warning just a half hour ago. This very, very powerful line of storms moved through there, the entire county under a tornado warning at one particular time, and you see the damage right there from this viewer who sent us this photograph. Again, Jackson in Butts County, High Falls Road impassable at this time. Jeff's tracking the remains of the storm right now. Jeff?
And the National Weather Service now, it's good news. If we can go to Fox 5 Live Viper, we'll show you that. What is that? Is that a new, do we have a new warning coming in? Well, they just expired. They allowed the warning for Jasper, Morgan, Newton, Walton to expire. So that's good news. They're saying that right now at 5:43. So no longer do we have a tornadic storm that is now has now approached the Athens area. So it's moved very fast. We were showing you and telling you earlier that it was moving at about 60 miles an hour. Now that storm has made it all the way into Athens. So you're getting some heavy rainfall going on in Athens, also down around Greensboro, all the way up to Washington and Lexington. I think that's kind of the focus now with these dying cells, is that you will get some high winds. I would think maybe anywhere from 30 to 35 miles per hour. You might not think that's much, but that's certainly enough to knock trees down, and there has been a lot of trees knocked down with these cells as they've come through. So anywhere from Gainesville, now approaching Jefferson, maybe up around the Commerce area in time, over to Danielsville, Athens, anywhere Clark and Coney County, you're going to get very heavy rainfall. Out around Winder, Barrow County right now seeing very heavy rainfall. 316 right along there out toward the Bogart area. Now you can see radar has updated. It's jumped all the way from Winder to Jefferson in about a 5 to 10 minute time span there. That's just incredible movement with these cells. Very heavy rain. So you're going to get maybe a ½ inch to an inch, inch and a half as that cell goes right over Jefferson there. So hope that your leaves are not blocking any storm drains. It's a little bit too late probably to get out there and do that, but this time of the year that causes a lot of street flooding, a lot of urban flooding, the fact that storm drains are clogged with the leaves that have fallen from the trees, and that rain is really going to be coming down heavily right over the Jefferson area and again up toward Commerce, Maysville, anywhere on up toward Banks County, and then eventually all the way up 85 right toward Lake Hartwell. So it's just going to continue to advance northeast again at about 60 miles per hour. So Athens, heavy rainfall right now. That's going to move into Danielsville, Lexington, coming out of Greensboro, Lake Oconee, Lake Sinclair, into Washington, Georgia, just north of I-20 right there, eventually on toward Elberton, into Lincolnton, and then eventually into South Carolina. On the back edge of this, nothing redeveloping. We're not really expecting, well, there's one little shower, looks like maybe just north of Gadsden, so I don't want to say nothing, but there's one right there. That'll continue to move off to the northeast near Fort Payne and eventually up around Somerville. But behind it, maybe not necessarily completely clearing out as far as seeing the cloud cover go away, but at least the rain is going to be moving out of here. So will the threat of any severe weather. Pretty much it seems like the threat of severe weather now has ended across our area. In fact, the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center has not extended the tornado watch any. They were talking about it, maybe putting one out toward Augusta down to around Savannah. That doesn't seem to have panned out. I believe they're probably looking at this and just thinking that it's pretty much going to be coming to an end. You never know, maybe over towards South Carolina later on this evening, there could be a new watch issued as this starts to move into air that probably could support maybe some severe weather continuing, where you see temperatures right now around 64 in Columbia. But look at Greenville. That's been the source. That's where our air has been coming from at the surface, all the way from Greenville out to Charlotte, the whole upstate area of South Carolina, into the mountains of North Carolina. That's that cooler air that has been streaming down with the east-northeast winds coming in and supplying us with that cool wedge earlier today. Meanwhile, that warm air was trying to fight and come up out of the south. It only made it to about Columbus and Macon earlier today, but now that wedge is starting to break down as the upper-level atmosphere is just kind of pushing, shoving everything out of the way, and you can see the warm air now starting to return down around Griffin, where temperatures right now around 64, 57. Atlanta, you're still holding on to some of that cool air up around Rome, and it's still there. It's locked in from Athens all the way up I-85 to Greenville. So these cells, this one in particular, which supported the tornado all the way down here, just can't do it in the 50-degree air, and it'll just continue to move all the way up through I-85 over Lake Hartwell, Clemson, Anderson, South Carolina, up into Greenville, and just basically be a big blob of heavy rainfall, and that should be the case too with everything that's coming in south of Eatonton over toward Augusta. Let's go check in with Doug. Got some more pictures for you.
All right, Jeff, as these storm warnings now start to expire, we're starting to get photographs in from the various areas where these storms hit this afternoon. This is a beautiful shot of a rainbow that was sent in to us from Daphne, and she is near Hiram, Georgia, and that's a double rainbow. We've got several pictures of double rainbows in beautiful skies right now over Locust Grove as the sun is starting to set there, and we're starting to get the atmospheric conditions that make it possible for that kind of sunset with a lot of pinks and purples and that sort of thing. Let me see what other picture we can get up here. Oh, we've lost control of it right there. So let's see. But again, we're getting a lot of pictures through social media, not only of the beautiful rainbows, but also some of the storm damage as well. And the storm damage that we have seen through social media has been in Jackson, in Butts County. Also, we saw some storm damage in the Thomaston area as well. Here's beautiful skies right now over Smyrna. It says before the clouds began to part, it was still raining. The sky was aglow with the sun setting. Now the rain has stopped. The clouds are parting, and a palette of beautiful colors are on display. God's artistry at its best. We thank you for sending that in. Douglasville right now. Beautiful out here is the caption in Douglasville as folks get out and take a look at the skies that are left over as this storm system moves through. Bobby calls this a huge fireball in the sky over Hiram. Again, as the sun sets and the atmosphere is so disturbed by all of this, you start to see those kinds of colors and things, the pinks, the oranges, the purples. Here's another shot of a double rainbow in Douglasville. Simply amazing, Ferris writes, the most beautiful rainbow I've ever seen in Douglasville. And just another gorgeous shot for us through social media. We don't mind you sending these pictures in to us, certainly. Go ahead and send your pictures in through our Fox 5 Facebook page, and we'll put them on as we get them. But always remember our warning to you, don't go out during a storm and take pictures. Wait till everything is past and the warnings have expired and it's safe to come out of your place of safety, and then you can go out and look around. Just be mindful of the emergency situations that are out there, as the electrical crews are out there, as EMS crews are out there. Be mindful of those people that have to go and work in the aftermath of these storms as well. Jeff?
That's very good advice. And here's a look at some of our rain totals. I wanted to show you this because it's just been coming down like crazy. 2.3 out in parts of Heard County, northern Troup County, over into Coweta County, a little over 2 inches of rain there. Closer to Atlanta, we've had some, look at this little amount here. I don't know if this is correct or not, but Doppler weather, or the dual pole radar, 5.6 inches of rain. I hope that's not correct. That's pretty close to our studios right here, but we're just hoping that that's false reading that came out of the computer. But here's one over here that's probably a true reading. Let's see, get on that, 4 inches of rainfall. So there could be some areas between Jonesboro, Riverdale, and over towards Stockbridge that received that much rain in the last 24 hours. It's not certainly out of the question. I wouldn't say it's likely, but it's not certainly out of the question. Farther on down to the south near Hampton, it seems to be, you can see where the yellows are showing up here. That's about 2 inches of rain. And out around Athens, where it's raining heavily right now, you've picked up in the last 24 hours a little over an inch there just south of Lawrenceville, 1.7, south of Stone Mountain, 2 inches of rainfall, up around Gainesville, 1.1, Jefferson, 1.2, maybe in the Houston area, about 2 inches. right there. So that's a lot of rain, and that's what we're going to be dealing with here, at least for the next, well, probably only about the next 45 minutes or so to an hour before this makes it all the way over into South Carolina. Again, this is moving at about 60 miles per hour, and that's about 60, 80 miles or so from the back edge of it to the border of South Carolina. So yeah, maybe in about an hour, this rain is going to completely clear the state of Georgia, and it'll be South Carolina's problem. Hopefully it won't flare up over there like it flared up over here earlier this afternoon. Let me put a little lapse on this so you can see the movement as that came racing through with the tornado warnings that were down around Thomaston and over toward Barnesville, and eventually made it into Butts County, over toward Putnam and Jasper County, eventually got into the Act, and then it moved northward through Walton and Newton County, parts of Morgan County, before it was allowed to expire here in the last 10 minutes or so. So that's the situation we have going on right now. Are we going to continue to go for quite some time? Till 6 o'clock. All right, we'll keep going until 6 o'clock and keep showing you all this weather radar and show you how everything is moving up to the north and east. Doug or Adam, do you have anything more to add to this?
Well, Jeff, yeah, well, we're continuing, as you said, to be tracking this this system here. Actually, if we can get over to, and I actually have the controls here to be able to do it. I do want to show you another radar image that we have, and we've been looking at them a lot, but the storms that continue to work their way there across the state, obviously weakening, and you have pointed this out, which obviously very important, and it's good news that these continue to weaken as they head further off to the east into South Carolina as well. I do want to show you, and yes, there are still a few warnings out there, but I do suspect even these will be continuing to wrap up here as we continue on. We were under the tornado watch originally until 8 p.m. this evening. Most of those have been canceled at this point as we are just looking at the radar that continues to clear here on the western portions of the state as it does track its way further off towards the west. But we do continue, and as Doug, you said, people, now that these storms have passed by, they are continuing to step outside and just kind of assess the situation as these storms have passed them by here in the afternoon hours. And we are continuing to get these storm reports, these local storm reports in throughout the National Weather Service. And there are several to be taking note of there, actually into the Monticello area. One of the most recent storm reports that we've received here from the National Weather Service, and what we're seeing here in this situation is just strong straight line winds. Thunderstorm wind damage. Obviously, we had some rotation in several locations, but a lot of trees down, and that's causing some dangerous driving conditions. Trees down on Highway 83 south of Monticello. This report at 5:15. The good news is, as we've continued to talk about, this system is weakening. But again, yes, 5:15 wind damage there, trees down on Highway 83. That'll take a little bit to clean up. Be careful. Do be careful when you're out on these roadways, as we are going to be continuing to see cleaning up and certainly power outages. That was some of the original reports that we got. Perhaps the most of are trees down and power out. Certainly around Thomaston, we actually have, and this is where I'm zooming in right now. This is where we were really highlighting the radar indicated tornado, that long range tornado that crept across the state line and worked its way all the way nearly to I-20 before finally expiring. I do want to take a quick look at some of the damage reports we're getting from that system as it passed by. Right in the Thomaston area, trees down, power lines down across the area, up into the Delray area. This was back at 4:30 as this system has been moving very quickly. A home was actually damaged there on Adams Road and Delray Road as wind damage knocked a tree down there. And then again in Silvertown, just outside of the Thomaston area, we're seeing more trees down, trees snapped and power lines down. That was at Church Road and Mill Race Road. That source was from Amateur Radio. So Jeff, obviously we're going to be continuing to track these damages. If folks are able to step outside and take these photos, please send them in, because I will be here tonight kind of cleaning this all up and putting it in perspective here as we head back towards the work week starting tomorrow. Jeff.
Awesome. Well, excellent job, Adam. Excellent job, Doug. We're going to be wrapping this up here Now that the threat of severe weather has moved off to the east, you can see the radar right now in our Fox 5 Live Viper. The rainfall continues to stream eastward quickly at about 60 miles per hour. We're getting damage reports of a lot of trees down where the tornado warnings were earlier, out around Pike and Lamar County, Upson County, closer to Macon and around Monroe County, and Jones and Bibb County around Macon also received some damage. And if you do have any damage reports, please send them to us here at Fox 5. Do it either through Facebook or on Twitter. You can email us here at the station as well. We'd love to have those reports. We'll relay them to the National Weather Service, and maybe we can get your pictures on too if you have some pictures of damage. We're going to be here tonight, 10 o'clock. Fox 5 News have all the latest on the storms as they have moved off to the east. A big wrap up tonight on Fox 5 News at 10 and also on the News Edge at 11. Thanks for joining us, counting on the Fox 5 Storm Team for all your updates this afternoon.